There is encouraging news for the 90,000 people diagnosed with Parkinson's disease in this country every year.
And there's no cure for Parkinson's. However, the FDA has just approved adaptive deep brain stimulation for people who are living with Parkinson's. UW Health's Dr. Jeff Potoff is here with us.
Hi, Dr.
Hello.
Potoff.
Hey, how are you guys?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good too.
So what does this mean? What is adaptive brain stimulation in terms for people with Parkinson's?
Yeah, I think, if we wanted to get into it, for many years, maybe 20, 30 years, we've had deep brain stimulation. We can talk about that. And the way I explain it is that's kind of like cruise control on your car. Like you pick a speed, you set it, and it is what it is. But the brain is pretty dynamic. It doesn't always want to go 50 miles an hour. Sometimes it wants to go 30 miles an hour. Adaptive deep brain stimulation is almost like adaptive cruise control. It kind of knows when you need to go 30, kind of knows when you need to go 50. And then the response is that those movement disorders that Parkinson's patients have typically can be much better controlled than they could be with either medications or just kind of standard deep brain stimulation.
So this potentially could lessen the tremors, improve quality of life. Is it sort of like a pacemaker for your brain? It's a device implanted in your brain?
Yeah, you could think of it similarly. So like a lot of the functions of our body run on electricity. I think we're all familiar with pacemakers that give electrical impulses to the heart that or kind of control how the heart beats. The brain is somewhat similar. This is a procedure where you have a surgery where electrodes are put in a very specific part of the brain, tailored to the individual, sometimes even placed while the patient's awake, so you can actually see that the deep brain stimulator is having the effect that you want. And then usually somewhere around the shoulder, they'll have a little pulse generator, kind of like the pacemaker box you feel, that can send those signals to the brain to calm down a lot of the movements that can be really debilitating for Parkinson's patients.
For the last 2 years, my dad has lived with early onset Parkinson's. It's his birthday, by the way. Happy birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday.
He's doing very well, but it's taken a long time to tweak his medication to get him to that point. And I know that's true for a lot of people. Does this give just another option and even some hope?
I think so, and deep brain stimulation is kind of almost like the backup. So you can imagine it's a lot easier if you can just manage your symptoms with the medications that we use to treat Parkinson's disease. But some people either aren't well managed with that, or over time the medications just aren't effective enough to manage the symptoms. That's when this technology, particularly the adaptive deep brain stimulation, could significantly improve quality of life in those Parkinson's patients.
The Food and Drug Administration just approved it, but do we know yet whether people are having success with this procedure?
We know out of the clinical trials, so like the studies that are showing that this works, that's been going on since I saw studies all the way back to 2018, that it works pretty well. I think now we'll have to go through the whole rigmarole of like it's FDA approved, will insurance companies cover it? How do we get it into the health system and then implant it into people?
Yeah, whenever people see these things on TV, I have to wonder if they're thinking, well, how do I learn more about this? Is this a conversation that they should have with their doctors?
Yeah, certainly if you're a patient or a family member that has a loved one that suffers from Parkinson's disease, talk with your neurologist about these different options and whether this might be something that would be good for you.
Very good conversation.
Very exciting, yeah.